Now we've seen how the environment can influence lameness and also how feeding can influence it. But what we haven't looked at yet is how breeding can influence it. And to tell me about that, I want to talk to Simon Moseley, Cogent's progeny evaluator. Okay, Simon. Now, you must see a lot of different types of cows in your work. Is there something in the underlying structure of the cow which predisposes some to lameness and not others?
Yes, that's correct, Peter. The overall structure of a cow needs to be correct for it to hopefully maintain as long a herd life as possible. If a cow has too much set in the leg, that can open up to all sorts of foot problems, and also the same, if a cow is too straight in the leg, that can also expose her to more foot problems as well.
But you were telling me about 3 points of articulation, which were the thurls, the hocks and the pasterns. Are those the crucial areas which must be structurally right for the cow to be sound?
Yes, they are, Peter. Yeah, they need to be in the right positioning. For a start, with the thurl bones, and also the cow needs to have plenty of flex and fluidity within the hocks and within the pasterns.
And if one of those areas is wrong, does it mean the other two will be wrong, or can a cow just get away with one set?
It can mean that, Peter. Yes, if the thurl bones are set wrong, it can affect the whole structure of the legs of the animal. If the thurl bones are too far back, it can restrict the movement in the hocks and in the pasterns. And if the thurl bones are too far forward, that can mean that the animal's got too much flex in the hock and too much flex in the pasterns, putting different weights and pressures on different parts of the feet incorrectly. And
a good cow will track correctly with placing her back feet where her front feet have been, is that right?
Yes, that's right. That's what we're looking for, really. We want good cows with good locomotion, but they also need to have flex in the hock, flex in the pasterns for that locomotion as well. We want them to track squarely, so for example, where a cow moves her front foot from, we really want to see her put her back foot down in the same place as she's moved that front foot from for good locomotion.
Alright, bearing in mind what you just said, take me through this first cow as an example, will you?
This first cow really is a good example of a cow that's got good legs and feet and good locomotion. She moves very easily on the feet and legs. Her thurls are set right. She's got good flex in the hock and good flex in the pastern. When we see her move, she really plants her back foot down where her front foot's left from. She doesn't chuck her legs out. She tracks very squarely and very good set of legs and feet.
All right. Now just show me, what's the problem with this second cow?
This second cow really has far too much set in the leg. We'd say she's too sickled. She really sits down on her pasterns. She's got very little flex in the pasterns. She's too weak on her pasterns, but she's stretching the tendons every time she moves. Because she's sitting right back on her pasterns, she's not putting much pressure evenly across the whole foot, so it's not wearing the hoof down correctly. So it's making her toes grow longer, and also opening up to more issues because her heel depth isn't as far up from the floor. It's opening up to all sorts of disease like dermatitis and things like that. And
will those tendons in the pasterns slack now and causing her to walk on her heels basically, will they ever tighten up again or not?
Chances are now, Peter, that the damage has been done. You could probably trim her feet and make her hooves look nice, but the fact of the matter is now that the tendons have probably been stretched, so she won't actually come back up to give a good heel depth now.
All right. Let's look at the third example. Tell me about her.
This third example is quite a good example of a cow that's far too straight in the leg. She's not really using the three joints, as we said before, correctly. She's got very little flex in the pasterns. She's got no flex in the hocks, hardly at all, and her thurls are set too far back. Now, if the thurls are set too far back, you tend to find that it pushes the rump up higher. This also has an effect on fertility when you're trying to get the animal back in calf, because the reproductive tract isn't draining of fluid the same as it would from a cow with a nice bit of slope on the rump. Also, the way this cow moves, you see real impaired movement in this cow. She doesn't take good strides when she moves. She doesn't walk with ease. She's taking little posty steps, and this is also having a big effect really on the fact that she's putting a lot of pressure on her toes on concrete. That's going to open up to a whole issue of things like sole ulcers and maybe white line separation, because the weight isn't being distributed out on that foot correctly.
And I was just coming to the breeding a bit. After years and years of selective breeding, how come we've still got cows that are of this nature?
Maybe like we were talking about earlier, the fact that maybe quite a few farmers, as they've been getting bigger and pushing for milk production, perhaps they've just taken their eye off a little bit off the types of cow they want to breed, and maybe looked at production more, pushed for higher yields. It's something that we really need to address, really, to hopefully give the Holstein breed and cows in general a longer life, is looking at the feet and legs. It's one of the most important parts of a cow. If the feet and legs aren't correct, and like I say, it alters the whole structure of the cow, and that can affect its herd life overall.
Okay, thanks very much for that, Simon.
Thank you.